As you already know, the UK left the EU political structures and the European Parliament on January 31st in 2020. Now, some Brexiteers blame the government for not implementing Brexit properly, and other people want the UK to join the EU again. But the EU, of course, moved forward after the UK left, and so in the next weeks, I will make a test here on the channel by bringing news about the EU in one of my daily videos. That is supposed to keep people informed what the UK has left there and what people want to return to, and to make informed decisions and give it a more fact-based approach. And since my magazine channel is reserved for information on the development of the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine for the time being, that is another reason to do it on this channel here. But as you know, I anyway believe that exactly my audience here needs this kind of information. And there's a new EU playlist, so have a look out for that one. But now let's talk about today's topic. The Commission decided to identify the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago as a non-cooperating country in the fight against illegal, unreported and unregulated, so-called IUU fishing, giving it a red card. I talked a little about this in my live stream. The decision is based on the EU's IUU regulation, which provides for a cooperation framework with countries to address IUU fishing and ensures that only legally caught fisheries products can access the EU market. IUU fishing stands for, as I said, illegal, unreported or unregulated fishing, as defined in the 2001 FAO International Plan of Action to fight IUU fishing. The EU's IUU legislation applies to IUU fishing and associated activities carried out by any fishing vessel in all maritime waters. A fishing vessel is notably presumed to engage in IUU fishing activities if it is shown to carry out activities in contravention with the conservation and management measures applicable in the area concerned. And this includes, for example, fishing without a valid license, in a closed area or during a closed season, or using a prohibited gear, as well as the failure to fulfill reporting obligations or obstructing the work of inspectors. IUU fishing is one of the most serious threats to the sustainable exploitation of the living aquatic resources. It jeopardizes the foundation of the European Union's Common Fisheries Policy, the CFP, and the EU's efforts at international level to promote better ocean governance. IUU fishing also represents a major hazard to the marine environment, the sustainability of fish stocks, and marine biodiversity. IUU furthermore results in unfair competition for those fishermen and women who abide by the rules. Fighting IUU fishing is part of the EU's actions under the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development of the United Nations. It is the EU's contribution to the Sustainable Development Goal number 14 to end IUU fishing and to conserve and sustainably use the ocean, seas and marine resources. The zero-tolerance approach to IUU fishing pursued by the Commission is also an integral part of the European Green Deal and the Biodiversity Strategy 2030. The EU is the world's largest import market for fisheries products and as such bears the responsibility to ensure that products stemming from IUU fishing activities do not access the EU single market. EU member states are also important flag and port states. The EU regulation to prevent, deter and eliminate illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing entered into force on January 1st in 2010. It applies to trade of marine fishery products with the EU. It aims to make sure that only legally caught fisheries products reach the EU market at all. To achieve this, the regulation establishes a catch certification scheme which requires flag states to certify that fish caught by their vessels and imported to the EU do not stem from illegal fishing activities. The system aims to ensure that countries' vessels comply with national and regional conservation and management rules, as well as with internationally agreed rules. So far, 93 third countries have notified the Commission that they have in place the necessary legal instruments, the dedicated procedures, and the appropriate administrative structures for the certification of the catches by vessels flying their flag. The Commission cooperates with a number of third countries and carries out evaluation missions to assess their compliance with the international obligations in the fight against illegal, unreported or unregulated fishing. Moreover, the Commission establishes IUU dialogues with third countries in view of supporting them in strengthening national policies to eliminate IUU fishing. Since November 2012, the Commission has been in dialogues with more than 60 countries which have been warned of the need to take strong action to fight IUU fishing. In most cases, significant progress was observed, and therefore the Commission could satisfactorily close the formal dialogue phase and lift the yellow card. Only a few countries have not shown the necessary commitment to reforms until now. The Commission puts emphasis on cooperation to solve problems, but there are third countries where the situation is still problematic, even after years of informal cooperation. In those cases, the Commission can resort to the different actions established by in EU IUU regulation vis-à-vis non-cooperating third countries and fighting IUU fishing. Concretely, when the Commission has evidence that a third country does not cooperate fully in the fight against IUU fishing, it will issue a so-called yellow card. With this first step of the process, called pre-identification, the EU warns the country of the risk of being identified as a non-cooperating country. The yellow card starts a formal dialogue in which the Commission and the country work together to solve all issues of concern. In most cases, this dialogue is productive and the pre-identification can be removed so they get the green card again. If, however, progress is not sufficient, the Commission will identify the third country as non-cooperating, and this is called a red card then. The Commission will then propose to the Council to add this country to the list of non-cooperating countries. Fishery products from the country in question will thereafter be banned from the EU market. At every step of the process, yellow, red card or listing, the third country can prove that the situation has been rectified. It will then be delisted again and get a green card. But the Commission's decision to identify Trinidad and Tobago as a non-cooperating third country in the fight against IUU fishing is based on the persistence of serious shortcomings identified in the 2016 yellow card decision. More specifically, Trinidad and Tobago has not adopted an adequate fisheries legal framework regulating and controlling the activities of national fishing vessels, the fishing activities taking place in waters under national jurisdiction, and the activities of foreign fishing vessels calling to ports in the country. This belongs to Trinidad and Tobago's international obligations under the law of the sea. In particular, the legislation in force does not contain necessary provisions as regards the management and control of fishing vessels, neither in waters under national jurisdiction of Trinidad and Tobago's, nor beyond them. It does not empower the fisheries authorities to conduct fisheries inspections and cannot ensure compliance with applicable regional conservation and management measures, and that is a really bad thing. And finally, it does not ensure an effective implementation of the United Nations Port States Measures Agreement in respect to third countries' fishing vessels. The situation compromises an effective control and traceability of the fisheries products caught, landed, or transshipped there, leaving the doors open for the entry into the market of fishery products potentially stemming from IUU fishing. This decision does not end the dialogue with the country, of course. The Commission expresses its availability to help Trinidad and Tobago in addressing the identified shortcomings. In the meantime, importation of fishery products from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago will be refused, even when accompanied by catch certificates validated by the national authorities. The Commission at the same time proposes to the Council of the EU to include Trinidad and Tobago to the list of non-cooperating countries in the fight against IUU fishing, and that is the end of it for the moment for any fisheries product from there. And if you are interested in more videos, the next one is right in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.